Alright, my Streamlabs template says that I am live, so that's proof enough for me. Let's see here, starting soon. It says starting soon right there. Here we go. I am going to click on this. I have access to chat, but it's too far away and I can't see nothing. There's Mrs. Comic in there, and I can't log in here, but I can see some stuff. So here we go. Howdy do, folks. Rainbow Amish Comic here. It is May 7th, and welcome to another edition of Trying to Make Tuesdays Suck Less. I had a plan, and now I forgot what it was, and then Crenshaw fucked me up because we might be hearing from Crenshaw from Hawaii, but him and I get confused so as it is, but it's 6 hours behind. It's just 1:30 in Honolulu, Maui, wherever the heck he is. So I think he'll be ringing in the show sometime soon. Um, let's see what happened here. Just a baby bobbity boo. Oh, Cinco de Mayo's come and gone. Mother's Day's coming up. I got shows this weekend. I'm so excited. I had a microphone nightmare with my sound system when I was at the Evergreen German Club, and a friend of mine, Josh, from the eventually to be released uh, crime thriller on Apple TV, my Amish buddy there, he was at the show when the microphone sucked batshit balls, and he told me that it would be bad to clean them with vinegar. So I had them professionally cleaned, so I'll be ready for that. I'll be using that sound system in Birdsboro, Reading area Friday night. Saturday night, I'm up in a theater company, community theater, Tawanda. I'm excited about that. Nice old theater. Enough about whoring me. I have other shows to promote. Um, the theme of the show is going to be the stupid things parents tell their kids, or what you have parents have told your kids, or what your parents told you peckerheads. I mean that in a nice way. Some of the phrases are stupid because mostly kids are really smart. So if you say a thing to them and you're being smart mouthy, that could backfire. One of my favorite stupid things is that parents do, and it's all covered in movies, is um, that's it for you. No supper for you. Go to your room without supper. That's the dumbest fucking thing a parent could do. Food is where we get our smart from. The kids already be in a pissy mood, might be hangry. So let's just cut off their nourishment and send them to the room. That'll put them in a better mood if they're fucking starving to death. That's the dumbest fucking thing. If you go to your room without food, that's a bunch of happy horse shit. That's a stupid idea that never really should have happened. Um, Unless the parents serve really shitty food. If you have really really horrible food that makes people want to throw up when they eat it, that would be the only time it would be beneficial for the kid to be sent to the room without supper. Above and beyond that, that's fucking stupid. Other ones that he used to yell from the downstairs to the upstairs, "Don't make me come up there." Well, what the fuck? That's the dumbest thing. Also, if you want to come up, I mean, it's technically their house. They should come up if they want to come up. One that really pisses me off, I didn't realize it pissed me off until I started talking about this shit today, is wait till your father gets home. That's sexist bullshit. That implies that the mother has no fucking power whatsoever, or they're playing good cop, bad cop. Either way, it's a dick move. It's a horrible thing. Just wait till your father gets home. And basically, your father, assuming he had a hard day at work, is gonna want to come home and not solve whatever the fuck you believe that mom couldn't solve, and mom could solve it better anyway. So don't wait. When I'm getting a problem solved, I don't want to have somebody solve it who had a shitty day at work all day, and then they come home and they want to have a fucking scotch. And so that's a stupid thing. I made a couple of notes here. It's just really there's some bad parenting things out there. Uh, Kids like to have things explained to them So when you say, go do this, bibbity bobbity boo, and they say, why? Don't say, because I said so. That's a dick move. It is a dick move to say that. You should actually talk to them like they're people for very bizarre reasons because they are people. So that might be something to consider when you're saying, because I said so. Because if you try this dumb shit on your friends, you probably get a knuckle sandwich like on a regular occasion. You know, which should we go to the movies tonight? Why? Because I said so. That's why. Because I said we should go to the movies. See, it's a dick move, and don't do it. So that's a bad one right there. Um, let's see. Here we go. Let's see. And also, a lot of parents give their kids a question that requires actually no answer. Silence would be the best answer. So if the kid actually tries to answer the question again, you wind up pissing off your parents. So don't ask them stupid shit like, how many times do I have to tell you to be quiet? Because that implies there's a number. So the kid might think, I'm guessing like three. That'll really fucking piss off any parent. And don't make me tell you again. That's one that I really, really fucking hate, especially with little kids because their minds are not developed yet. Their memory isn't developed yet. They have their imagination are all over the place. So you might have to tell them 8,000 fucking times, and it doesn't have to be matter every time. So how many times do I have to tell you? Enough time so the kid stops doing whatever the fucking stupid thing is. So uh, these are none of these. I'm not blogging off on any of these as great parenting techniques. I'm just telling you the shit that fucking pisses me off. Another one that some of you peckerheads heard was when the kid wants something expensive, they go, money doesn't grow on trees. Well, it actually fucking does, doesn't it? It's made of paper, so that's bullshit right there. And the kid will hear that and go, I think my parents are fucking assholes because they said money doesn't grow on trees. And this is paper, and paper, as we learned in school, comes from trees. So don't tell them fucking stupid shit that could come back to haunt you. The kids will think you're a fucking idiot, and perhaps you might be an idiot. I don't really know. So there's that. Uh, Amish parents don't really say much at all. They just make that face that you're in trouble face. Uh, but if they were gonna threaten you with shit, it would be like you're behaving like a Mennonite. You see, it doesn't really work. Another one the parents did too. And if you do this to your kids, you gotta stop doing this shit. I will blog off on that. If you're at a playground or someplace fun, and there's a procession to get to the car, and the kid isn't coming along, for fuck's sake, don't say, "All right, we'll just leave you here." That's the dumbest fucking thing because A, you're not going to just leave them there, and B, if it's a place that's fun, maybe they want you to just fucking leave them there. So that's a no-win situation right there. So I think that'll probably wrap it up for my my parenting advice here. So basically, too, we'll be going back to the Amish way. Um, Shunning is the thing, but shunning is overrated as a disciplinary tool because shunning is basically ignoring, and it's a city kid's dream come true. City teenager gets shunned, go to your room. They're happier than pigs and shit. There's Wi-Fi up there. They don't have to eat with their parents. They don't have to talk to them. They can exist and kind of just ignore them. Shunning is basically ignoring, which in today's world that might be considered peace and quiet. So, and some of you probably grew up in houses where the table was really quiet, and you have created a sense of shunning. That aspect of your life was a little Amishy if you didn't know. So there's that. And I was googling around some stuff, and I forgot to Google something that there was some really stupid shit that was not so much for kids. It was for like more teenagers before they were 21 years old, and they got into trouble. There was a show called Scared Straight, and they take the kids and stick them in a prison when they hadn't really done anything yet. And then the prisoners would come up to them and go, "You like to be my bitch? You like to suck my dick? Keep it up, motherfucker." That, I believe, is quite possibly the worst parenting that ever existed on the planet Earth, is take your kids to the scared straight prison and have the prisoners fucking yell at them and threaten them. So there you have it. If you're going to discipline your kid, I would suggest not doing the scared straight method. Oh, here's another one they used to say. They used to say, this is another one that I can't believe people are this fucking dumb, but somebody's parents said this to them: stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. That's the dumbest fucking thing, because well then what's the point of this? If I don't stop crying, you'll give me something to cry about, and then I can continue to cry in the fashion that I'm crying now, and everything should be fucking sorted out. So that's kind of stupid shit right there. Wipe that smile off your face, or I'll wipe it off for you. Again, if the kid goes, that's smart mouthy, and I don't really know how a parent would wipe an expression off a kid's face. That's science I am unfamiliar with. I don't really think that works too well. Um, let's see here. The other one is, I'm not going to tell you again. That's also a lie, because we will tell you again. So I think this concludes my parenting skills part of the show. Now, what I got to tell you here right now is, I'm going to shift gears a teeny tiny little bit, is that um, Mrs. Comic's here in the chat. Mrs. Comic, over the couple of years of streaming, hears what dumb shit I'm saying, and then she will run and go get something that is specific to the story that I'm telling. And I'll give you a fine example here, right? I was hemming and hawing about the magic bullet, and she, in fact, brought me a magic bullet and passed it right into the show. It was absolutely a rock star. And there was another one where, let's see here, I was telling a story about a pointy hat that I got as a gift from some friends that went to Peru, and they brought me this pointy hat back, and I lost it in New York. I was heartbroken, and the pointy hat was sitting on the fence by the car where it dropped, and Mrs. Comic, handed me this pointy hat, and that was kind of really amazing stuff. And so the point of all this is quite simply that when she does this stuff for me, I always seem to be surprised. And when she hands something in, my default setting is, what the fuck are you doing? And I don't know why I don't trust her that she's bringing me something. I guess I might have a little bit of uh, Richter Bourbon Balls PTSD, where I think Richter has been scheming a plot against me. So I'm trying to uh, be more prepared for anything that Mrs. Comic might bring in. And sometimes it's a cat. She'll just say, I'll be talking about a cat, and she'll pick up the cat and set it down. Although I don't think that will happen tonight, because the Caesar is a big son of a gun. He's adorable. He's a sweetheart. But there's a window of opportunity to pick up Caesar. And I don't know how to pick up cats, and everybody else does. So I get cat picking up lessons. We had 2 lessons today, and the second one didn't go that well. So I don't think Mrs. Comic will pick up the cat right now tonight, but she always hands me a cat. Now this brings me to something else here. This guy is outside. That's Bearcat right there. Bearcat and Caesar pretended to be friends until Caesar got in here. Now Bearcat just sits out and does nothing. It doesn't let us get close to him. It lays around like a lazy ass, and somehow that pisses off Caesar. Caesar goes fucking nuts when this Bearcat, who doesn't want to be saved other than to have a house and food and all that shit, the outdoor house. So we're dealing with all that shit. That's kind of crazy ass shit right there. And I'm looking for something else here. I'm going to show you this. So when Caesar sees Bearcat out there just laying, and not even laying there. That's like with the eyes open and shit. Just laying and sleeping in a pile. Then this happens. And that is how we know it is time for Bearcat's
So graceful.
supper. When Caesar turns into Spider-Man the cat and starts screaming and going nuts and scaling the window. On some levels, it's very impressive. Channeling cat burglar, I don't really know.
Bell.
So
That is a warning to Bearcat. I'm warning you.
I don't tell you what else is going on.
Not unlike the Nan. I have a screen,
there goes.
window screen, and I'm not afraid to use it.
Up, watch this shit. Come on, do a pull-up. Are you gonna do it? That's fucking strong cat. There's no room up there for Caesar to stand. That's about 2 inches, that's it. And so that happens roughly 3 or 4 times a day. So if anybody has any solutions, and I don't, there, look at that. I mean, that's somewhat impressive. But the fun thing is that while you see Caesar going nuts there, Bearcat is out doing absolutely fucking
I think I
nothing.
would do a TikTok
Absolutely
live.
nothing. So that keeps our day kind of fun and exciting. And I don't know if they're watching tonight, but the cats we've always had, Mary, Bearcat, and now Caesar. The fans send them gifts and drop off food, especially for Bearcat. And we have some nice friends in us. Occasionally, we get stuff given to us as well. And so that would be Glenn and Annie. I call them my Game of Thrones couple. They dropped off some VHS tapes for Mrs. Comic and I that we're rediscovering VHS because our daughter and her boyfriend are heavy into VHS. And so Glenn and Annie, what was funny about these tapes is that they buzzed and were really loud, but I rocked my VHS Amish tech skills to figure out if I put this tape in the player and fast forward it to the end and rewind it back to the beginning like 9 times before I watch it, the buzz goes a fucking way. So that's kind of amazing shit right there, which brings me now to a couple of reviews of shit that we saw. The movie that I am in, For Richer For Poorer, features J.O. Sanders, who kind of looks like me, and I took credit for his role, and people said, hey, you have a pretty big role. Prior to that, we were outside in the field, and he was loving it, and he was very personable, and he told stories, and he said he just filmed Daylight, where they were in 3 feet of cold water in a sound stage or whatever the fuck it was for like 3 months. It was a fucking nightmare. So we watched Daylight, Mrs. Comic and I, and Sylvester Stallone is the hero. Everybody else is a pussy now. Sylvester Stallone apparently is demoted to cab driver. He was part of an extreme rescue team, and he fucked something up, and some people died because he made some bad decisions, and now he's on probation. And the Lincoln Tunnel, Holland Tunnel, whatever, I think the Lincoln Tunnel blows up in this movie, and they're stuck in there, and he fucking bungee cords himself through the sewer system to save these people, and when he gets there, everybody treats him like shit. I don't know why he didn't just fucking turn into Rocky. What the fuck's wrong with you? I'm here to help. He shows up and they go, it's just you? You came by yourself? Yes, I came by myself because nobody else wanted a bungee cord through 19 fucking fans that are going to chop their fucking nuts off. So yeah, it's just fucking me. Well, what's your plan? I don't have a plan yet. You came here, you don't have a fucking plan? You don't have a fucking plan? What the fuck is wrong with you? Your plan is for us to just stand here in the water until we drown? This goes on the whole fucking movie. They're being a mean motherfucker to the only person who can fucking save them. And the guy who's in the movie with me, Jay Sanders, he's a real whiny bitch. I'm kind of lucky that I didn't know that when I got to talk to him in real life, because I absolutely would have said, oh my God, I remember you from Daylight. You're the whiny bitch guy who kept saying, I got a 14-year-old gun, I have a plan, and I got new loafers on, and his pennies are going to rust from fucking sewer water. I would have fucking ripped him a fucking new one. Ultimately, Mrs. Comic ruined this because she saw what was going to happen. Fucking swarms of rats come, and the people are screaming and fucking passing out and going nuts. And Mrs. Comic says, "Oh, follow the rats. The rats know the way to dry land." And so that's the spoiler right there. After all the shit Sylvester did to help them out, they wind up following the rats, but they really are fucking assholes, and they can thank their lucky stars he didn't fucking go Rocky on them, just start fucking popping them and shut the fuck up. And the movie's older, and so they didn't care about if people were talking over each other or not. So sometimes there's like 6 or 8 people all fucking yelling at him, and then they find his backstory, right? And so they're drowning, and while they're all drowning, he said, "You did this before. You fucking killed people. The last time you were in a tunnel that blew up, you fucking killed people because you were a dick. You pretended like you knew." It's really a fun watch. So there's that. Another fan favorite here is Footloose. Now, if you watch Footloose, I'll tell you this. The whole problem of the film is Ren is coming and he wants to throw a dance with high school kids. That is the least of the worries of this town. This town is fucking riddled with drunken assholes. They drunk drive, and their girlfriends climb from one fucking car to another one while they're fucking driving. And they have drunken tractor races. They go into the fucking creek and they fucking pummel the fuck out of each other. But Ren's coming and he wants to dance, so we have to shut that fucking thing down. But the whole rest of the movie, they turn a blind eye to all this other fucking happy horse shit going on. Drunk driving, pummeling the fuck out of each other. It's really a fucking stupid concept, but it is also a great movie. Then, because he played his music too loud in the Volkswagen Beetle, which is a fucking sweet machine, somehow he gets kicked off the gymnastics team. And then he does an angry dance, and he goes into the most amazing gold Olympic medal winner of all fucking countries gymnastics fucking performance in a warehouse. And I don't know why the fuck they would kick him off the team. Athletes, especially good ones, are allowed to be fucking douchebags. Those are the rules. They fucking kick the best guy off the team. So Footloose, that's another fun one right there. I don't recommend any of the drunken tractor stunts they do. So there's that one here. And this one, again, thank you, Glenn and Annie, if you're watching. I thought this was the director's cut of Apocalypse Now. This is Hearts of Darkness. It's actually the making of Apocalypse Now. It's really phenomenal. I've ranted and raved about how much I love The Godfather and Coppola and the series called The Offer and all the problems that they had to overcome and financial and everything else production wise. Apocalypse Now was Coppola, and it was that times a fucking million. It's absolutely incredible. So the shit is real, and that's where Coppola rams up the bank account on films. He likes to do shit the real way. So now they got Marlon Brando, and he's only going to be in the movie for like 5 minutes. He gets $1 million because shit was going wrong in like the Philippines, like fucking tornadoes and shit would come and fucking annihilate shit. It fucked up their filming schedule. So Brando was like, "Well, you said we were going to do it now, so I want to do it now. We can't do it for 3 months. Then fuck it, I'm not doing it, and I'm going to keep the $1 million." Because Marlon Brando is notoriously a fucking douchebag to work with. That's what they say in the Godfather thing. So somehow they got him. Now, the other problem of this is with Brando is that apparently he, and Mrs. Comic pointed this out, I don't know how I could forget this, he's really fat and out of shape. And he presents that to Francis Ford Coppola as Francis Ford Coppola's problem. It's not Marlon Brando had all this time, the 3 extra months to get into shape. He presents it to Francis Ford Coppola, I'm fat and I don't want to be. That's a fucked up diet. That is a fucked up way to get into shape. So they had to try to film Marlon Brando in ways where he didn't look like a big fat tubby walrus. And so that's why he's mostly laying down in darkness in that fucking movie. Now, then we have Dennis Hopper, who was over the fucking deep edge. He's in Blue Velvet. He has a scene where they actually didn't know how they were going to end the film, so that how it winds up, it's quite possible Dennis Hopper, who's fucking not stable at all. He's a crazy, almost like a cokehead journalist on this fucking island. I don't know who the fuck he's reporting to because it's no way for him to send his fucking pictures out. He's like the welcome wagon. He's fucking nuts, and he's nuts in real life. And Marlon Brando is nuts in real life, and those two nuts are going to be like in the final scene. Neither one of them wanted to learn their fucking lines, but they wanted to spend time on location to explore their characters' backstory. And Francis Ford Coppola's like, "Are you fucking shitting me? Well, I had 5 days where they're just walking around and talking about fucking dumb shit. Like he's too fat. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And let's try this." And then he started improvising. And then Brando on the one scene, he said, "I can't have any more thoughts today." And that was it. He had the maximum number of thoughts he could have that fucking day. So Coppola's pissing and moaning about this. Ultimately, they did a lot of improvisation, and they didn't want to learn their lines, but they wanted to learn their characters' backstory, and that's fucking crazy pants right there. Now we move to Martin Sheen, and he plays Willard, and as the beginning, uh, he's a lean, mean killing machine. He's basically a military hitman. He goes on covert operations, and he's like a fucking Spider-Man hitman. But Martin himself said in this, he was really out of fucking shape, and he was smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day, and now all of a sudden he was going to have to do all this fucking army stuff out in the woods and the jungle and all that shit. Plus, he was drunk. All if you had to have seen Apocalypse Now to appreciate this. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what you're waiting for. So, Willard Martin Sheen is waiting in like a military hotel base, wherever the hell he lives, waiting for his next mission, right? And so he's drunk in a room because he's bored and he's slamming whiskey, and then he looks real sexy at himself in the mirror, and then he gets nuts, and then he kung fu punches the fucking mirror, and his hands blood dripping. All of that was real. All of that was real. He said he was drunk the whole time in that room, and they just filmed him candidly. They filmed him candidly. So all the greatest scenes of Martin Sheen waiting for his next mission and getting drunk and crying and punching the thing, and the blood's coming out. And when the blood came out, the film crew medics came in and they wanted to bandage him up. But no, don't do that. This looks really fucking good. This is kind of fucking badass here. So that's crazy shit going on there. That's not the craziest thing in the film that I heard. One of my all-time favorite scenes is when Chef is on the boat, which they're getting a little military escort. They're on a little pontoon boat, and he said he's an actual chef, and he dreamed that he made a mango cream pie for Raquel Welch, I think was the dream. And then he woke up and he said, "Fuck it, man! I don't want to make. I gotta get some mangoes." So they stop and they go in the jungle, and Chef and Willard Martin Sheen go into the jungle because Martin Sheen doesn't want him to go, and get eaten by a tiger while he's looking for mangoes. So they're talking all this chef shit, and an actual fucking tiger comes at him. They say, "Quiet! What is that?" And then fucking tiger comes at him, and they come running back and say, "What is that?" "A fucking tiger! A fucking tiger! A fucking tiger!" And then he's writing a letter to back home. He said, "You won't believe this. Today I almost got eaten by a fucking tiger." That's not what's amazing about it. It was actually a real fucking tiger. Francis Ford Coppola likes to do everything to make it look real, and it was an actual real fucking tiger. And the tiger trainer guy, they were talking to him, and he said, "Well, we haven't fed him for about a week, so we're going to take this pig dead carcass and drag it like on a leash, and wherever that drags, the tiger will fucking pounce on it." And they were trying to drag it so it was in between like Chef and Martin Sheen, So we'll pounce on him, and Francis Ford Coppola's up there filming, and he's going, you got to get closer. Fuck you! You get closer to the fucking tiger. So the actual fucking tiger is real, and the tiger trainer said occasionally it bites him in the ankle, like Caesar was biting me in the ankle. See, I knew that was fucking real. And he said it's no big deal. It's just that when he bites me in the ankle, I really can't walk for about a year. I can't really do anything for about a year. And he told all this fucking shit to these people in Apocalypse Now. So I mean, there's more fun stuff in there, but I love all the shit that but what goes into making a movie is just absolutely ridiculous. Coppola's known for doing things. Godfather, they had to go to Sicily, and I had no idea that the actual fucking tiger was real, and they were actually scared of the fucking tiger. So that's kind of badass rock star shit there. So that's it for my VHS reviews this week. Let's see here. I'm creeping in there as Richter encouraged you to drug me with bourbon.
He's mentioned it.
He's mentioned it. All right, we want to give the fans what they want, so Mrs. Comic will deliver me a bourbon as Richter wanted me to have, because apparently Richter, I have a question for you, Richter. How the fuck do you think I get bourbon the whole rest of the week when you only ask for her to give me bourbon fucking one night a week? How does that fucking work? I have other ways to get bourbon. Now, this bourbon is Jefferson's bourbon. I sometimes get bourbon that is on sale. I smart mouthed the guy at the liquor store. I said, Jefferson's bourbon I never had is any good. And he said it's actual Jefferson's bourbon recipe. And I said, how the fuck would anybody know? How the fuck would anybody possibly know if this is the official recipe that Jefferson had? And I didn't even know Jefferson had his own bourbon. Washington had his own bourbon. You could just fucking say that, because how would you fucking know? Oh yeah, that's Jefferson's bourbon. I was there when he made the first batch.
Cheers.
So here we go. Cheers. Yeah, it tastes like, I don't know how it tastes compared to Washington's bourbon, but Jefferson's bourbon's pretty fucking sweet. So there's that.
From an apple tree.
That's right. That's right. Mrs. Comic just said, I don't know if she's reading a chat or she said this, but Mrs. Comic said Washington's bourbon probably comes from an apple tree. That's rock star shit right there. So there's that. Now, I know there's more fun shit that happened. Where's my notebook here? So, holy smoke. Crenshaw tried to call me before the stream. So now I don't know if on Hawaii time, if he's got hold of something down there that he smoked and passed down. Crenshaw is actually taking care of goats down there, so I'm not sure what the hell if he's going to phone in or not. But I got my notes here on the VHS stuff. Oh my god, the VHS stuff is so much fun. And the machine is loud, and when it starts, and the cat goes over and fucking stares at that and tries to climb into the VHS player. So that's some good fun there. Let's see here. Parents do the dumbest shit. Say the dumbest shit. Here we go. Oh, here's what happened to me last week in this very room. You see, Caesar only sees this head, right? Except I'm broadcasting now, and it's hiding. So last week after the live stream, I still had my hat on, and he just was locked on my hat. Like, and I can understand his thoughts, and he was saying, what the fuck is on your head? Because see, a cat doesn't really understand a hat. A cat doesn't look at you and go, oh look, it barely put a hat on. No, according to Caesar, this is now officially part of my head and becomes a thing he could possibly leap at. So if you have cats and you wear hats, understand that the cat will think the hat is part of your head, and you can make the proper safety adjustments there. So now I've got that. Here we go. Oh, again, in my efforts to bring more Amish into my actual stage show, I've been making some notes, and some of this shit's only funny to me, and some of it is shit that I remember from material that I used to do, but the the Amish have some weird um, inconsistencies in how nuts they are, and people like to call me out on that shit, and they like to blame me for the inconsistencies of the Amish. I didn't fucking create the Amish culture, so the Amish not supposed to have a car, right? But they will ask you for a ride. I'm supposed to explain it. How the fuck do I know? The Amish uh, aren't supposed to have a phone, but will go to where there's a phone and see if they can borrow the phone to make a call. Um, so I've got to think. I'm wondering if it is a religious thing or it's more just a cheapness thing. Because if you could not have a phone and borrow a phone, not have a car and borrow a car, that's a fucking money saver right there. So that's some fun shit right there. The other thing, our friend Skip, who is widow of Wind Barbara, an amazing lady. She's just fantastic. She's always giving us bags of tapes and videos and all kinds of stuff. And then there was one it's about the Amish lifestyle, and it's a newer one. And apparently the Amish have got a little more lax since the days of what I know. But there was peace in this thing that I was watching that cracked me up because I knew this for a fact. The Amish, if you live in Lancaster and you're not Amish, and then you sell your home, Amish might buy it, depending on where it is, and they will rip out the electric. They will gut it. They will rip the wires right out of the fucking wall, and they will snip the wires, and just cut all the fucking electric out of there. Which, to my way of thinking, is a little fucking dumb because they could just throw the switch on the fuse box and let everything solve. Because apparently they don't trust themselves around electric to just go with the fuse box. Because if you're not supposed to have electric and you're all fucking plugged in and you do this and there's no electric, sooner or later someone's going to get into the hard cider, the sauerkraut slammers, and go down there and say, fuck it, I want some fucking electric, and throw the switch and the whole thing will fucking light up. So to make sure that they don't use the electric, they just fucking gut it and get rid of it. That's the dumbest fucking thing that there ever was right there. Um, let's see, what else is going on here? That I talked about before. Um, we're running out of stuff to watch. We've been power watching Ted Lasso. It's so well written that there's a lot of comedy in it that we missed first time around. That's how I would like to be able to write shit that's so tight that you don't fucking get everything right away. So we're watching Ted Lasso. We're watching Franklin, and that's another one that's kind of funny. Who's playing Franklin? It's a famous dude. They always get upgrades. Whoever plays him, who's ever playing Franklin, got a serious fucking handsome upgrade, and he's slutty as all hellfire. But Mrs. Comic and I are now victims of the next episode comes out whenever. We never lived like that before. We wait until a thing is 2, 3 seasons in the can, and then we just fucking power watch it. We just power watched Trying. It's called Trying. It's a British series. It wants to be a comedy. It wants to be a soap opera, and it's basically about a couple trying to have kids. And there's no real fucking in it, which is kind of weird on account of if they're trying to have kids. So there's a new season of that coming out. So Mrs. Comic and I power watched 3 seasons of Trying in one day. It's not really that long. So now we're victims of that show. We need a new episode of that to come out.
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas is Benjamin Franklin, and I think he got a serious upgrade as far as handsome goes. Even old man Michael Douglas kicks the ass of actual Ben Franklin. So hooray for Hollywood! He got a fucking upgrade right there. That's some fun shit. Franklin. Oh, this is what Mrs. Comic has to deal with. I like the serial killer shows more than she does. She will watch them, but we'll watch something fun, and she'll fall asleep. Then I will stop the fun thing, and then I will switch to the serial killer thing. And I'm not going to wake her up and say, "Hey, the fun is over." Now, adjust your dreams because the serial killing thing is on. But the serial killing thing will leak into her dreams. Her system absorbs shit, and so she will have a fun dream, get a fucking twist. And so, oh, here comes Crenshaw. I'll finish this story later. Let's see if I can put you on speaker there. Crenshaw, ringing in from Hawaii.
Is this Amish?
Yeah, this is Amish, and you gotta speak a little louder because I could slide over to the microphone. Crenshaw is.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Well, I want the audience to be able to hear you. That's what's going on there. So, Crenshaw on
It's really windy here.
Is it really?
So I have to get inside. It's like 60-mile-an-hour winds.
Whoa.
Hey, listen. Nobody feels sorry for you. You're in fucking Hawaii.
Crenshaw.
Suck it up.
You should feel sorry for me.
Cren-
I have a goat problem.
Crenshaw.
I have a goat problem. So
Crenshaw has a
this
goat
is
problem.
actually the goat report.
We would need the goat report.
All right, we do need the goat report. What's the goat situation?
And you know, you're Amish, so maybe that's the reason why I'm calling you. So I need your goat support.
Okay.
Because you probably are the goat whisperer. But I got two goats. I got a big, fat, stupid goat named Teddy. And he's funny as hell, and he eats avocado trees.
Oh.
And then I got another goat named Hoku, who, well, let's just put it this way. In its first couple of years of growing up, it was people smoked weed at it because it wouldn't put weight on. And whenever it would get high, it would get the munchies and eat. So it was the only way they could get the goat to eat. So now the goat's a weed addict and eats marijuana plants. And if you're trying to roll a bowl, it's going to get in your face and try to get a hit off. I've never seen a goat like this in my life, and it's making me mad. I can't light my blunts or nothing. It's making me nuts.
This isn't some sort of weird story that's really about me, is it?
I don't know. Do you know anything about goats that get high?
Well, I don't know anything about goats that get high. See, goats aren't supposed to really need any care. A goat is supposed to just be in your garden or in your yard and run around and eat shit that you don't want. Now, if you're going to name one goat like Haiku and the other one Theodore and smoke dope and blow it in its face, I think all the traditional goat rules of behavior are right out the window.
Well, let's see. That's strong advice. That's strong. I'm sitting here trying to reason with the goat, trying to have conversation, and that doesn't work. And then I tried to chase it around the yard. That didn't work. So I'm at goat's end. I don't know what to do.
Well, now you have Crenshaw's at goat's end. I do have a suggestion. Which one of the goats had the marijuana blown in its face? Haiku. I think you need to blow an equal amount of marijuana in Theodore's face to even things out. So that's why I think you gotta fire it up, and I think that Haiku should not be around when the marijuana in the goat in Teddy's face is happening until you believe Teddy has absorbed enough marijuana to be as fucking nuts as Haiku, and then you can just blow. You could blow smoke in both their faces, and that should balance out.
Equally tweaked out.
So now you got 1 week to smoke as much dope as you need to smoke and blow in Teddy's face, because we will be needing a report next Tuesday night to see how the lesser of the two pothead goats is coming along. The Maui goat report, and also lower your expectations of what you hope the goats will do for you. These are not dogs. They're not going to fetch the paper. They're not going to. So lower your goats are good for eating shit they're not supposed to eat. So if you have stuff that you don't want eaten, but you got 60-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, this morning we had some really crazy winds, and then it died down earlier, but now it's picking up again.
That's crazy.
Yesterday I was out roofing up in Kula, way up in the hills, and it was really nice. Not as windy, but it's super windy today.
Wow.
I can hear it a little bit. I don't know if it's picking up on the live stream camera, but I can hear the wind. But also, I love you, but part of me doesn't really trust you because you might be upstairs in my house with a fan right now, creating the wind sound.
Don't spoil the effect.
You could be.
Don't spoil the fact.
You could be pranking me. So I'm here to tell you that whatever problems you're having with those goats, that's a fucking great gig to be sent to Hawaii to babysit goats, right? And it's two of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's good. I mean, you don't every day get to go like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? I don't know. We want to go watch my goats for a month? Sure. You know.
And that'll look good.
You know what the problem was?
What?
He said, would you watch my kids?
Oh.
And I went, sure.
Oh, that's a really bad Amish joke that I will not steal. Crenshaw just said that he was tricked because he said, "Would you watch my kids get it? Kids goat?" You actually really lucked out there, because if it was his kids,
That'd be harder.
that'd be a lot harder, especially.
I don't think I'd be blowing marijuana smoke in their faces either. So.
Well,
Yeah.
well, it's great to hear from you, and
You too, Amish. How's Lady Amish doing?
Good.
Mrs. Comic is doing very well. We were going to have some lessons tonight about me not screaming and going fucking nuts when she hands me shit that is important to the show that I'm doing now, that has something to do with it. When we did the magic bullet, she handed me a magic bullet, but I always scream. My default setting is to scream that we're fucked, and so I'm working on that. I have issues. It sounds like your goats have issues as well. So
yeah, maybe I'll blow some smoke in your face, cool you down.
Yeah, but when you're blowing the marijuana smoke at the goats, I think your gut feeling would be to blow shitty ragweed at them. I wouldn't suggest that at all. I wouldn't want to spend a lot of money on marijuana for goats, but the quality of the high will affect this experiment. So don't blow fucking.
I like what you're thinking.
Yeah, don't blow.
I like where you're going.
Don't blow ragweed at it and expect it to be like, born again new.
Right. All right. Sounds good. I will give you a report next week then.
All right, man. We love you. Mrs. Comic says hello and be safe and hang on to a goat.
Tell Richter to send more money or like send beer or something.
Do you hear that? Richter, Crenshaw says you have to send more money or beer. So, and this is coming from 6 hours behind us into the future from Hawaii. So there you go.
Yep.
All right, honey. I love you.
All right, brother.
Thanks for
Love you.
Thanks for phoning in. Aloha. Bye.
Love you. Talk to you later.
Bye. So you never know what's going to happen on this show. You can plan on a lot of things, and the cat doesn't jump up on my lap. And Crenshaw calls from Hawaii. He actually fucked up the times a little bit. He called me about 7:25, and I'm a dick, so I didn't answer the phone. I'm like, there's it. There's Richter with the $5. That's fucking amazing right there. But I'm a dick, and I can't take a phone call right before I'm going to stream live. Even though this is a silly, ridiculous show, I like to be the best silly, ridiculous show that I can possibly come up with here. So
Chug another bourbon, he says.
that's right. Chug another bourbon or finish this one that I start. I'm sipping it. I'm nursing it, but I will bang this shit when this thing is all done here. So there's that right now. Holy shit, that was a nice surprise to hear from Crenshaw. And mostly what's cool about Crenshaw, besides everything, is that he'll say weird shit that you would assume is a joke, but it's actually there. Because when he first told me he was going back to Hawaii to babysit goats, there's a period of letting that level off to make sure that he wasn't all crunked up. I would like to remind everyone, if you're just tuning in, crunks is my slang for marijuana. So you never know if Crenshaw is all crunked up, and it tells a story about babysitting goats, and that somehow that belongs in a quiet. That's my alarm. You're not the boss of me. Somehow that belongs in a book or a story that my Viking friend, who was a reality TV star in Denmark, went to Hawaii to babysit some goats, and he called his Amish friend on a phone to tell me about his goat problems. There is a story there somewhere. I don't know, but that's why you watch this show, right? It's Tuesday. Tuesdays suck. We got to get the goat report, and it seems like that might be a regular segment now. If he remembers, I'm guessing that smoking enough marijuana to get one goat caught up to the marijuana intake of the other goat could possibly cause Crenshaw to fuck up the space-time continuum. So I could always call him too. There's an idea. How about that? Let's see here. Boo. Uh, I don't have anything else really that exciting to report. Um, let's see here. Mrs. Comic. Um, oh, you did that question. We answered. Mrs. Comic had asked before. Crenshaw called how many goats. So the answer is two. That's a good question. A pot smoking goat and a not pot smoking goat yet. So now we solved that mystery. Let's see here. Um, I've been busy as all hellfire in the best possible way. My bra strap's falling down again. I've got shows in Birdsboro Friday night at Fire Hall outside of Reading, and Towanda, Pennsylvania. That fucking way up. That's Saturday night. That is a community theater group. Not just one theater, well, whatever the community theaters are up there. Very excited about that. I'll be performing in an actual theater. The following weekend, I'll be at the Harrisburg Comedy Zone, and that is my show closest to when my birthday is and my anniversary of starting stand-up comedy. It's a great room. It's wonderful. Um, I get to hand pick it, so I match it up to my birthday. That way, Mrs. Comic can buy me a nice birthday gift. And with the anniversary of my show, starting show business, that's a really wonderful thing. And then at the end of May, I always get it mixed up. There's Pottstown. One is the north and one is the south. Pottstown and Pottsville. I think Pottstown is down. That would be a good way to remember, but I'm not exactly sure. So I'm at Soul Joel's in the one that's down, which I think is Pottstown. That would be Memorial Day weekend. And then, of course, I got the Emmaus Theater at the end of July, and I got some other shit going on. That's pretty much it. There's no other excitement.
Susan and Richter said sometime they want to hear about your stories from your old job at the screen printers or other old jobs.
Oh my God, Mrs. Comic has reported that Richter and Clee's sister want to hear some stories from my hell job at the printing place. I will not go into that tonight because that's a whole fucking show. That is in it. That's a whole fucking show. I'm gonna make a note here. We do request. I'm gonna make a note here. That's a great theme for a show right there. Oh, also, a week late.
In Ireland.
Let's see here. We got. Oh, now wait a minute. I can't write with that. Let's see. Next live stream. Fan favorites. We got print shop store. That guy was the dumbest motherfucker that ever was. You know the guy that ran the print shop. That's when self-sticking stamps were created, and he tried to lick a self-sticking stamp, and it was on his lip, and he yanked it, and it was all fucking bloody as shit. I'm not telling stories like that tonight, because that'll fuck up when I do that next week. And then we got Ireland right there. But sometimes I have the picture to the story is a week late. I think I told a story last week about Mrs. Comic's great uncle, I think it is Halsey Hall, coined the phrase "holy cow" that cocksucker Phil Rizzuto stole for the Yankees, and he pretended like he invented. It's in this fucking book. This book is amazing. If you have a chance to pick this up somewhere, holy cow, that's Mrs. Comic's family. That's great uncle, I think it is.
Yeah.
He was a character and a half. Everybody loved him. He did silly beer commercials. He dicked with his family a lot. There's a story in there about because he traveled and then his family would meet up with him whenever they could. He told, I think, his grown-up son, teenage son, to wear a nice shirt, a nice white shirt, when we were going to meet him in when the team was swinging through whoever played in, I think it was the Washington Senators, was the baseball team that played in Washington, D.C. But the reason he wanted them to wear a nice shirt is because they were going in to meet the fucking president. He doesn't tell them that. He doesn't tell them we're going to go meet the president. He says, just wear a nice white shirt. So these are great stories for another time. Ireland stories will be in there. Mrs. Comic and I, we really appreciate you folks. We love doing this show. And that's it. That is a wrap for trying to make Tuesdays suck less. Tuesdays, most Tuesdays at 7:30. Be safe. Don't be a dick to each other. And thanks for tuning in. We leave you with this right here. Is this what I got to deal with? Right there. Leave you with Caesar, Spotty, Bearcat, window.
So graceful.
Never need a watchdog with this guy.
What is
Thanks,
graceful
folks.
animals we have.